What's up, guys? Back with a video. Got to get some gas in my car. Got the top down. The sun's about to set here in about an hour. So usually my favorite time to go cruise when it's not super hot. Midday and a top down is definitely not the move. But I just filmed a little cold start video that I'll probably post separate for fun. But yeah, the title of this video: how did I buy my first Lamborghini? I know I've had cars in the past. I've kind of talked about how I bought in some of my other cars, which is financing them through credit unions sometimes. Sometimes it's leasing them, going the releasing route through companies like Putnam Leasing or Premier Financial, companies that specialize in leasing, which is a lot more beneficial, especially if you live in a state with tax, where you only pay tax on the monthly payment, you don't pay tax on the whole amount of the car. So that kind of helps a lot too. So right now, low on gas, gonna go to the gas station, grab some gas. Yeah, and I'll, talk a little bit about that, find some nice scenic views, put some nice backdrop when the car's parked in the marina down here in Orange County. And yeah, I know that's something that a lot of people want to talk about. Also, how do you afford the car, stuff like that. For me, it's like what I do for a living. I just work in tech, and I've made some investments early on, nothing crazy, like 401k, some stocks, things like that have allowed me to put my money put my money into other things then, being able to invest and then cash out, whether that was my first real estate property that I bought and sold and I made money on in 2019 to 2021, stuff like that. But mostly right now, everything is just kind of day trading, part-time and early in the mornings, and then everything else is just my income from my quote-unquote job in tech. Little tunnel here. A little pop backfire, little upshift blips are crazy. That's why I love the single clutch so much too. It's so raw, it's crazy. Really curious to see how the new Revolto is with the hybrid technology, not a single clutch, dual clutch, but they're still trying to do single clutch feeling. I don't know, that'll be very interesting to see how that car kind of, once it gets in the hands of people on the internet, quote unquote, and gets into the hands of those people, I'm very curious to see how that works out in terms of how people like it and whatnot. So, oh my God. See, top down with those noises behind you, it's like, you can't beat it. I have a Technica on order, and it's supposed to be here sooner than I thought it was going to be. Am I going to take it? I don't know, 80% chance, probably not. Even though it was my dream to spec a car from the factory and have it be mine and own it and keep it as long as possible. That was my dream. And the guy texted me from my Lambo dealer. He's like, hey, your car's supposed to be here end of July, August. I'm like, bro, I'm not ready to buy. I don't want to sell this car. The thoughts of me selling this car, I can't even think about that, which is so crazy to say because I don't really get attached to cars. I can own them, drive them, sell them, but man, there's nothing like this car, man. There's nothing like this car. But anyways, gonna get some gas. We'll talk a little bit about different finance options, how you can buy your first Lamborghini, or if you're trying to save up for a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a Porsche or any other car that's kind of your dream car that's 150, 200 grand, in that price range, that's kind of what the market is for those kinds of cars in terms of used market, not newer cars, but the 458s of the world, the Gallardos, the Huracans, some 488s, the GT3 RSs, the GT3s of the world, those great kind of very premier quote unquote sports cars / exotic cars. So gonna get some gas and we'll chat some more. Before we go to the gas station, just cruising there. One of my favorite drives to cruise Back Bay out here near Newport Beach. What a beautiful day out right now too. Give it a little rip here. right, getting some gas. This is always an interesting one. It's a little popper there. Love this gas cap. Believe it or not, the first time I was getting gas in this car, it was on so tight. I sat at the gas station for almost 20 minutes trying to get this damn gas cap off. What's the gas prices today? Sheesh. Also, another thing, there's only certain gas stations that have a big enough round thing where it clips on the side and then you don't have to hold it. This is the emptiest I've ever had this tank. 18.6 gallons. Sheesh. All right, let's try not to get any fuel on the paint. All right, we're good. And honestly, believe it or not, this car actually gets pretty good gas mileage. It's pretty crazy. I think I was averaging like, when I went to San Diego in this thing, like 24 miles a gallon. Now, city highway combined, I'm averaging here like 14. That's all I drive is PCH or something around here, but it's pretty good actually. Honestly, the best parts about this car is just at the light leaving the gas station, there's a kid and his dad and his wife, and he's like, awesome car, I want to hear it, and then you just have to send it, you know. It's like, it's just so funny. I feel like it doesn't matter how old you are, even the dad, the kid, they all want to hear it. Like, I feel like when you see a Lamborghini, it's like, it's every kid's poster on their wall, you know. So it's like, I don't know, it just brings back so many memories of when I was a kid in that same scenario. So always got to give them a little, like, nice little first gear, little sound, without getting in too much trouble, of course. One of my favorite drives of all time. You cruise, if you're ever in Newport Beach, cruise Bayside Drive and PCH. Bayside Drive is hidden. All the little marinas there. It's the best place to honestly cruise. I mean, a Mini Cooper decides to do a U-turn. One of my favorite roads. Just so relaxing with the top down. It's literally perfect. What a perfect night for a drive. These are my favorite kinds of drives. These sunset drives, nothing like it. But anyways, that's the video. How I got my first car. First Lamborghini, I'm sorry. But, you know, most of these companies, you only really need 10% down of the purchase price. Maybe if you have no history with them, the first time could be 15 to 20%. So let's say a $100,000 car, or excuse me, a $200,000 car for numbers purposes. That's how much my GT3RS pretty much was. At that time, since I already had a relationship with them, I only had to put down $15,000. So really, that wasn't even 10%. But, you know, my first GT3RS, you have to put down 20% usually. So in that scenario, for a $200,000 car, it'd be 40 grand. But your second car, once you built a relationship with them, you've had it a couple years, everything went smooth. Obviously, you made all your payments on time. You could look at an easy 10% down. So, you know, as long as you can make the payment, of course, you can afford it. And you don't need to be a billionaire or a millionaire or make 100 grand a month like some people claim. These days, the financing options are so flexible that you can make a $250,000, $300,000 a year salary, and you had some money saved up and you buy the right car. It could be a good investment and a good place to park your money. So anyways, figured I'd make a little video on that. A lot of people ask questions around that. You know, my Instagram, I'll even throw it up here in the video. I don't really shout it out. Sometimes it's in the captions, but I forget to put it in there. But you guys can DM me if you have any questions or whatever. I don't get anything out of it. I figure I create the channel for fun and to help people. And just share and have a place to share content and just have like an archive of cool videos. The goal is to maybe, the channel is monetized, so the goal is to maybe grow the channel. And I would love to build a cup car or a GT3RS and just make it strictly a track car and travel all over the country, filming videos and tracking it and hanging out with other track guys. That would be the ultimate goal of the channel, is it makes me enough money outside of my day job to go travel, build a track car, or just buy a 992 GT3 cup car and just make cool videos traveling around, maybe make the cup car street legal, driving on the street every now and again. That'd be a lot of fun. So anyways, thanks for watching if you made it this far, and yeah, hit me up if y'all need help or whatever. I ran into somebody the other night when I was out that watched a channel that I'd never met before or anything, and I thought that was so weird. It was like the first time it's really happened, or kind of the second time, but the channel's small and it's interesting seeing how some people locally watch it. So anyways, And then off the drive up here, top of Pelican Hill, one of my favorite places of all time to cruise a car to. Yeah, I don't think you can beat that view. The view is literally perfect, but not very hard to get this in terms of you don't have to make a lot of money. I think even the Stradman talks about having a video on how he bought his first Gallardo. Obviously that was a longer time ago when money wasn't readily available when it comes to financing and exotic cars and stuff and the valuations of cars. Now there's so much data, right? A lot of times you buy a car like this and you're trying to buy it for 180 or 200 grand, and you know the last couple or the last 5 or 10 based on sales history and what's listed online, if a lot of them are going for 220, 230, 240, let's say hypothetically those aren't the real numbers, a lot of times you can get these cars for little to no money down. You don't even need the 10 or 15%. Sometimes it's just 5%, some skin in the game or drive off fees or whatever the case may be. So, you know, it's not as crazy as people think or out of reach as people think, right? So, you know, there's a lot of goals I have set for myself personally on cars that I want and stuff that I want to accomplish in that regard. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me excited about life. And honestly, I was having a conversation with my friend the other day. I was like, if it wasn't for cars, I don't know what I would be doing. I don't know where the motivation would come from. And, you know, some people's motivations are a lot different. Some people, it's not a car. It's not a certain thing like that. Or it's not a material item even, right? Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's, hey, I just want to own the mini mart down the street. I just want to be a doctor, whatever the case may be. But, you know, before I ended the video, even though I technically just ended it when I was driving, I figured I would throw this in there because it came up on top of my head where I was like, a lot of people knock people's goals if it is a material item. But sometimes a lot of these companies that have been built, the Facebooks of the world, the Nvidias, the Googles, the Microsofts, a lot of it was, I bet, a Lamborghini poster on the wall or a house poster on the wall or wanting to take care of your family or wanting to provide a better life for the future generation or your kids. A lot of it was material motivation. And sometimes when shit does get hard and everything hits the fan and it's not right with your family, it's not right with your friends, or it's not right with your business or your partner, or whoever, whatever scenario is going on in your life, a lot of times, for me right now, it's the Bugatti wallpaper on my computer. A lot of times you look at that and I'm like, man, that's really the only thing that is helping me move forward. That's the only thing that's driving me forward. That's the only thing that's left sometimes, some days. Not saying all days, I'm saying some of the days it's tough. Sometimes it is that car, sometimes it is that poster, sometimes it is that material item or the picture of the house that you have saved on your background on your phone or on Pinterest or whatever the case may be. So you can't knock people's goals, I always say, because it may be the only goal or the only thing that's keeping them when it comes to their goal is a material item. When people knock material item, and I use that in air quotes because it's funny, because when people knock that, sometimes it's the only thing that's keeping somebody afloat or mentally sane or alive or just getting them through the next day. I can't tell you probably how many companies have probably been built just based on that kind of analogy or thinking, because when everything else was failing, that's the only way that they had to move forward was those particular items. Now it's different. Now, yeah, those are some of my goals. But now it's different. Now it's money's the only sole purpose of money to me, I think, is to experience things and have fun with it and enjoy it and do it with the people that you like, that share the same interests, that have the same moral and ethical compass that you do, and they want to have fun and do fun things. To me, that's the only kind of tool. That's what money should be used for. When money is used for power, control over people, making them feel a certain way where they feel trapped because you have money and you're like, you're nothing without me, or you're using it to destroy somebody else's life, or you're using it in those scenarios, that's when the money's the root of all evil, right? That's when it's not good. That's when it's used in the improper form. For me, I only want to use it for fun. I only want to do fun shit with cool people and do it in some cool cars. And whatever happens along the way along that, and the people that you help hopefully or influence. A lot of people aren't going to read the Bible. A lot of people aren't going to read a book on how to better their life. But if you are an example of how to live a great life, you can lead by that example. You can be a book to somebody else, meaning you can lead by an example where other people are motivated and influenced and develop discipline to want to live a better life, because you are the product of that. So that's just my words of wisdom, I guess. But anyways, thanks for watching part 2 of this video, even though I just ended it a second ago. But I'll end it with this nice view. What a view. What a perfect car. This is literally my favorite car that I've ever owned so far. This is literally perfection to me right now. I'm so enjoying this thing. It's crazy. Anyways, peace out, y'all.